Hi there, and welcome to this episode of Write With Me at IELTS Juice. We have an essay this time to go for and plan for. The rubric appears over here. This is an interesting video. We are going to plan for this particular rubric a little differently. So make sure you stay tuned because first I'm going to say the conventional way, the normal way, and then we are going to introduce a very different approach. So, based on the rubric, we start by reading the topic first. It says, some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school programs. Now, let's break down because there is a lot to understand from this part before we get into the parentheses. First, some people, so not all people, it's very generic, not limited to a certain location. It's not limited to the time. It doesn't say modern people. It doesn't say people in the past. It doesn't say parents. Some people. And they have a belief, of course, that's normal, that unpaid community services, that means voluntary work, the work that you do, and in return, you don't expect a salary. That is something you contribute to your community. And it comes from the idea that this is the community which worked so hard to have regulations in place, to have a safe place, to have economy, structures for your safety, and to help you flourish and thrive and become a better citizen, become a better individual in life. In return, they expect something back. So you are a high school student, or your children, your sons and daughters are at high school, and then they should contribute to the community without any expectation. Of course, you can expect thank you, love, and admiration from the people in the community. That is a separate topic. We are mostly focused on money, so work, but it's not paid. The part the grammar says should be a compulsory part, pay attention because it means that it's a suggestion. It is better. The IELTS rubric suggests that it is a good idea to make it part of high school curriculum for high school students to go out and help the community for free. This is the suggestion here. Please pay attention that we're talking about high school students, so ages range from 14 to 17, 18. Of course, it varies, but these are teenagers. And another important point here is that this is a suggestion, but the idea is suggested, but the idea itself makes it mandatory, compulsory. It is necessary for high school students to pass this part to be considered for, I don't know, some other rewards later on. So mandatory, compulsory makes it a challenging element. I want you to fully understand this part. Now we get into the parentheses. For example, I'm going to use my cards a little early on this time. Working for a charity, improving the neighborhood, or teaching sports to younger children. These are examples, and they are given to us, that's a closed parenthesis. These are given to us in a pair of parentheses. So what are we going to do with them? I will talk to you about this later. For now, let's just put these beautiful elements over here. You know me, I always start my essays with an attention grabber. I'm going to start with a normal method. My attention grabber comes from my own experience. You know that in Japanese schools, students must make sure their classroom is as tidy as possible. So every individual, every single student is responsible for making sure their seats, their tables are clean, organized, and before and after, especially once their classes are over, they make sure that everything is in order. And then they leave their classrooms to their homes. So that is an important element. If you do not have examples like what I just said, simply say something a bit catchy. For example, our students already take physics, chemistry, biology. Why not we introduce a new course called voluntary work in their curriculum? That's a rhetorical question, and then based on that, you continue. If you can come up with something like this, good. If not, this is optional. I repeat every time, this is optional. And based on that, you immediately start with your connecting info, because we want you to connect the idea which is suggested with your own opinion. Your opinion is going to be the most important statement here. The thesis statement is your opinion. So take a look at this. The thesis statement, the last sentence of the introduction, is going to be your opinion. And you need to make a bridge between your opinion and the attention grabber you had. If you didn't have, it's fine. Now, what is the connecting info? Just explain what the suggestion is. Paraphrase the rubric. Is it that difficult? My suggestion is you can even go ahead and paraphrase the examples. The examples are working for a charity. They can do charity work, improving the neighborhood, making sure the quality of their neighborhood is improved. And the last one, teaching sports to younger children, become interns and teach whatever they know, sports or arts or anything, to younger, to students from lower classes, lower level of education. If you have vocabulary for that, if you know that high school, we have high school or senior high school, but normally it's high school and junior high school, which is called junior high. And then we have elementary school. You can, instead of saying younger children, you can say elementary level students instead of saying children here. The essay type in the rubric says to what extent do you agree or disagree. I deliberately didn't focus on that because now I'm doing the normal planning. Here you say your opinion, and in the opinion you say whether you agree with this or you disagree. So you 100% agree with this or you 100% disagree with it. That's a safe approach. It doesn't give you a very high score, but it's a safe approach. So if you agree, you need to come up with reasons why you agree. You go ahead and write your reasons. You make sure your opinion is 100% in line. This is safe, and you support based on reason A. I believe this is a good activity. Reason B is also a good activity, and you can use these references. You can use examples here or any other examples that you have. This is normal again. If you want it to be a little bit more challenging, you can introduce one paragraph here. Of course, another topic sentence. If your opinion is not 100% in line with any of these topics, if you agree with it, but you want some certain, elements to make sure this is in line, make sure that you talk about the other opinion. Make sure you add some other people's opinion that, all right, I agree. This is good because of this and that. But let's not forget Some people might say that this is bad and it's a waste of time. You can talk about this, but make sure you come back to your main point. So you're supporting your opinion, you're saying some other people's opinion, but make sure here you realize and you introduce this so well that the reader understands your opinion is legitimate. And yes, this is, so you show that you definitely agree with this. You finish it by paraphrasing your opinion. Your opinion comes again, appears again here, and you finalize it by predicting future, like the students who go through this type of training later on will realize how the importance of the community work, and they will continue doing this later in their lives. So once they become independent, they have their own business, they have their own finances. Once they realize that part, then they can contribute something back to the community. This is a normal approach, but this is not the approach that would get you very far ahead. With this one, yes, but still. Now I need to introduce the 3 elements I saved. I'm going to say goodbye to these. I'm going to bring back the structures to their normal places. My introduction would be pretty much the same, but this time I am going to make the examples given here the backbone of my development. How? Helping charities, improving neighborhood, and teaching sports to younger students. These are the examples that you should, if you really want a high score, you limit yourself to these elements. Once you limit yourself to these elements, you can begin addressing the maximum score. How can it be done? There are 2 ways. If you are going to say to what extent you agree and you state, or disagree and you state your opinion over here, make sure that you add these examples, all of them, for the reasons you give. If this is the first reason, make sure that you support the reason by examples from these 3 elements. If you are going to say the second reason, make sure you do the same thing over here. Again, the same categories, with the same organization, helping charities, improving neighborhood, teaching sports and other fun activities to younger students. Make them the backbone of your paragraphs. You can either do this, or you can approach it differently, and you can devote a paragraph for each. So the topic sentence becomes the example, and then you use these examples to support your opinion. Here it's all about helping a charity. What type of charity? How they help? You come up with details. You add details, you add information here to support. I'm going to use this, like add details, add details, add details. For every one of these examples that IELTS gives us in this rubric, come up with a proper development. Make sure it is fully developed, and make sure in this paragraph you show how well you agree with this. If you 100% agree, all this should be to support it 100%. If you agree, but there are some elements, make sure under this you also raise those little tiny items that you wish that they need to consider. They need to consider things here in here. It is still the umbrella term, but your opinion says, for example, I only agree with this 80%. If it is 80%, not 100%, that 80% should appear in every single paragraph. You see what I'm saying? That 80% means you agree with a little bit, with a little something that they need to consider, because they should, there are some not bad things, but necessary things that they need to consider. For example, if they're teaching sports to younger children, I agree with the condition that they are being supervised when they teach by an expert. So they do not teach wrong styles and later on harm younger students. If they're improving the quality of their neighborhood, make sure they are not exposed to crime directly. Make sure in this activity, we do not introduce our young and fresh-minded individuals to gang members, drug dealers. Oh my God. So that's another item you need to mention, and you need to be very, very aware of. Another element to helping a charity, make sure when they help a charity, they're not exposed to, like if they're people cooking for the homeless, make sure that these young people are not exposed to boiling water or very hot oil. They wear proper gear. If they are going to give food away, to the homeless, make sure they know protocols. If there is any concern, who to call, the police is there, things like that. Now, this approach is a holistic approach. Whether you agree with this, with the whole rubric 100% or 80% or whatever percent, it doesn't matter. For every single example, you have proper development. This is a lot closer to what I have in mind for you. Now, if you wish to see a sample on this rubric, you know where to click. If you wish to see other videos where we assess and analyze different task 1s and task 2s, click over here. Don't forget, eat healthy.